This is the bridge at Denver. This is the bridge they used to make the movie Bridge Too Far. As you all know, the bridge at Arnhem, it was blown all to hell. So they had, this is about the only one around, I guess, that they could use.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not bury them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Mr. Bürgermeister, Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, distinguished guests, especially our comrades, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today, we officially begin another pilgrimage to a land that holds so many memories for so many Canadians. I'm sure tomorrow's Liberation Day celebrations will recall for our Canadian veterans the glorious exhilaration of freeing the chains of oppression from an entire population. Yet on the other hand, the graves of 7,600 Canadians will be a cold reminder of how costly was the price of liberty. Here I want to thank our children for their presence and their participation. You have remained faithful to the memory of those Canadians who died so long ago, and we are very grateful for your interest, for your participation here today. The few weeks of fighting that followed take up a considerable portion of our military histories, and little wonder. The 1st Canadian Army advanced over a very wide front. It was in constant action under absolutely appalling conditions. The Rhineland campaign, Emden, Arnhem, that graveyard of previous Allied hopes, the royal city of Apeldoorn, the drive to the North Sea, the race to feed great cities before their populations literally starved to death. The 1st Canadian Army answered a myriad of challenges. As usual, victory came through a combination of great teamwork and individual bravery. With us today in our party is one of the bravest of those individuals, Colonel Fred Tilston, sitting over here, the major at that time who won a Victoria Cross, the highest battle honor we offer for his actions. We also remember with admiration the 2 other VC winners in Northwest Europe, Sergeant Aubrey Cousins and Corporal Fred Topham. However brave these men were, they didn't achieve victory alone. They were doing their duty as they saw it, and as were hundreds of thousands of those who served with them on the land, sea, and in the air. And let us give praise to those servicemen and women whose efforts are often overlooked. For the engineers, the sappers, all of the support services, the campaign in the Netherlands must have been a logistical nightmare. At its peak, it's hard to believe, the 1st Canadian Army had a ration strength of 470,000 people. It took 1,900 tons of equipment just to bridge one river, the Maas River, in 5 places. There were 35,000 vehicles to look after, 1.3 million gallons of gas to deliver, and believe it or not, there were 350 different kinds of ammunition. Truly, all units could take satisfaction in their performance in the rain-drenched soil of Northwest Europe. A triumph. Now, though, comrades, let us reserve our thoughts and our prayers for the 1,352 Canadians buried here. For them, VE Day came too late. But we realize that much of the acclaim and affection we will meet on this pilgrimage is owed to them. Canada and the Netherlands are truly grateful for their sacrifice. Thank you.
And he says, well, he says, you know, they only built so many miles in those things. You're using them up too fast. Okay, Fred.
Thank you.
But they want to say hello to, I don't have to introduce...
You remember Fred Hall?
I do, yes.
He died last year.
Oh, dear, dear.
I just wanted to...
Sorry to hear.
Yeah.
You're
Peggy Hall.
Peggy Hall.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. I love it.
Cake company in Hartwell.
Oh, God. You got it, too.
Fred, yeah. What, you gonna kiss me or something here?
Indian monument.
Monument for 1st Canadian Infantry.
Okay,
Canadian Armored. 1st Canadian Armored Brigade.
We
49.
were down to that already, Jack.
Yep.
I didn't know there was a stop there, which is a good thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did you get a picture of that bridge?
Mr. Rogers, you can...
Farewell.
No, that's
Oh, okay. This is the big holiday over there for them. They call it Liberation Day. And these bicycles are going to follow the trucks here that are taking us on a route into Barnesville, how the Canadian Army came through this area. And they claim there was 5,400 bicycles that followed these vehicles. That's George Moran's there, and there's Urban Sketchley from BC, and Jack Rogers from Ontario, Frank Leach there from Alberta. This is a lady pinning the Thank You Canada medal on myself, and the same lady here pinning one on my brother Jack. That's enough. This is Palace de Lutte, where the parade is forming up. But we take a little tour through the palace here before they go on parade. Very beautiful inside here, the paintings, and we asked the Dutch people there if the Germans took much of these paintings, and they said, yeah, they did. But a lot of it they got returned after the war. That's all hedges there. How'd you like to have to cut that?
I'm going to show that to my wife.
Good job to light the candles every day, Jim.
You must have air vents or feel the air coming in here. Yeah.
No climate control there. Could be. Usually these places are the humidity control too.
This is the start of the parade. They claim there's 250,000 people watching this parade, so I hope you enjoy it. I also hope you see yourself on this parade, because I have left it all in, all but a few of the vehicles I've cut out because I just didn't have space for it all. So you should be able, if you're in the parade, you should see yourself on here.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? Hey.
Got you, boys. You advertised for Legionnaire, boys. Tilly, I got you, Tilly. Well, they got small game down there. Way to go, boys. Very nice. They're all bending down there, all bending. Come back. Go Buffalo!
Hooray for him! Hooray! You made it, eh? Good. Stay behind me, eh? Stay behind me. Liberators, blessed are the peacemakers, they are children of God. That is the liberation torch.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Mr. Terbeck, Minister of Defense of the Netherlands, le ministre de la Défense des Pays-Bas.
Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, during the past week, hundreds of Canadian veterans have been celebrating with us the liberation of the Netherlands. When we, the Dutch, speak of our liberation, the Canadians are the first to come to mind. The images of the cheering crowds and the tanks laden with Canadian soldiers and Dutch civilians are engraved in our memories. Even after as long as 45 years, the remembrance of that joy at freedom regained has not lost its significance for the Dutch. It is, however, not only joy that is remembered. During the past few days, a lot of stories have been retold and articles have been written about the years of occupation, the suffering, the deportations, and the compulsory labor. In brief, oppression in its most cruel form. For the ones who endured the war, but also for the younger generation, the years 1940 to 1945 are still alive. We should not forget that the liberation of Holland was at the cost of heavy fighting. The reason we are here today is to commemorate the 5,700 members of the Canadian forces who gave their lives for our freedom. They rest in peace at the 3 Canadian war cemeteries in Bergen-op-Zoom, Holland, and here at Groesbeek. In September 1945, the 1st Canadian Army was the first to reach Dutch territory in Zeeuws-Vlaanderen. The operation to clear the Scheldt was met with strong German opposition. The objective was accomplished, but not without immense effort and heavy losses. On average, 110 were killed or injured each day. 2.5 years ago, a monument was erected in Bergen-op-Zoom to commemorate the Canadians who fought there. The 1st Canadian Army, reinforced by the troops of General Faulkner, crossed the Rhine by the end of March 1945. That was the beginning of the liberation of the northern part of the Netherlands. The area in which the operation took place was here near Groesbeek. The 2nd Canadian Army Corps liberated in quick succession the eastern and northern part of the Netherlands in April 1945 during Operation Haymarket. I was only 1 year old when Operation Amherst ended the German occupation of my hometown, Koevoorden, in the night of April the 7th of 1945. Speaking now on behalf of the Dutch government, but also expressing my own personal feelings, I would like to thank our Canadian liberators with deeply felt gratitude once more. In Holland, the war ended on May the 5th. But this was not the end of the presence and the assistance given by the Canadians in the Netherlands. They continued to help for more than a year to solve problems in the areas of healthcare and food distribution. For these reasons, Canada still holds as much as ever a warm place in the hearts of the Dutch. This is underlined by the cordial welcome which I'm sure the visitors from Canada have received from our people, particularly during the past few days. We got to know Canadian hospitality by the fact that our royal family found refuge in Canada during the war. Through the years, the bond between our countries has gained in significance. The 185,000 Dutchmen who settled in Canada, knowing they were settling among friends, may be seen as proof of this. We are fully aware of the sacrifices the Canadian people made for our freedom. Those sacrifices go beyond the 5,700 military who gave their lives. Our feelings of gratitude are extended especially to their next of kin, to the thousands of wounded and to their families. The war has left great marks on all their lives. In fact, this gratitude we owe all the military and the Allied countries. They gave us back our democracy and freedom. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the laying of wreaths will now take place. Her Royal Highness Princess Marguerite and Mr. Peter van Vollenhoven, Son Altesse Royale la Princesse Marguerite et Monsieur Peter van Vollenhoven. Defense Minister, ministre de la Défense des Pays-Bas.
Good, sir.
No one. Huh? No one. How far down did you go? Where did you go? You do these two. Where did you go? I've done these ones. How far down did you go?
To the rope?
What happened?
Bitika. Dede ya, diyor mu?
C'est un petit peu ça dans tous ces jours.
How are you?
Fine.
That's good. What is your name?
Ida Crawford.
And where are you from, Ida?
Toronto.
From Toronto? Okay, I notice you have a silver cross on there. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
That's for my son in Holland. He's buried in Holland. He was killed 20 minutes before the end.
The end of the war?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
In Emden, Germany. They brought his body back. Thank God he had been through Holland.
68.
He was killed just 20 minutes before the end. He was 19 years old. In 45 years, they revisited him 45 years since he was killed. That's all I had. I had nobody else. I was determined I was going to come over this year because it's the first tour or first celebration I'd heard of where they went to Holland. It's only a little cemetery, but it's a picture. If you haven't been there.
We were there, Ida, yes.
It's just like going up a country road with trees both sides of the Canadian trees. And you walk into that cemetery, you can smell it.
You sure can. I'm so pleased you were able to come.
Well, the boys all say they want to see me in 5 years, so my old chair rolls out, I will.
All right. Good for you. Thanks for chatting with us, Ida.
Are you from Toronto?
Bill Brown, Coldwater.
Bill Brown, Coldwater.
Your name in the hometown?
In Wigan, Coldwater.
Coldwater? I know he's from Coldwater.
Oh, I
No,
Wabashing, okay. Where are you from, ma'am?
Yeah, I met the man.
You know where? Coldwater? Shooter. Where are you from?
Kitchener, Ontario.
Name?
I'm Ruth Donnie, Toronto.
What's the name?
B164143.
Okay. Where are you from, Tilly?
Fergus, Ontario. When I was in military.
So where are you from? Bella?
Muskoka.
Okay, what's your name?
I am Alice Chisholm. Audrey Edwards.
Okay.
Long sound.
Betty's from
Good. Richmond Hill, eh?
From Western Ontario, which is a part of metropolitan Toronto.
Okay.
And Joe Edgar from Wabashee.
Wabashee!
Norman Audrey Tucker from Tavistock, Ontario.
From where?
Tavistock.
Oh, Tavistock. Okay.
Near Stratford, Ontario.
Yours, there?
Rush Foreman, Clearwater Beach, Penetang.
Don Shane, Bob Cajun.
Ted Spicer and Kitchener.
Ernie Manners from Toronto. Alice. Bill Cormier, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada.
Oh boy. You ladies tell us where you're from?
Joan Frankish, Coldwater.
Coldwater?
Howard McLaughlin from Oregon.
This is one of the many outings that the Carmers had. This is a boat ride. And they're heading for Geethorn. This is a restaurant at Geethorn, where they served us dinner. There's about 200 of us there, and they fed us in about a half an hour. And everybody's having a good time. Everybody's meeting old comrades. Some of them hadn't seen each other for 45 years. So it's quite a thrill. This is the farewell party at Barneveld the night before we left, and As you can see, it was real comradeship, and we met some wonderful people. The Holland people were just fabulous. They just couldn't do enough for us, and we sure appreciated it.
Thank you from the bottom of our glowing hearts for having made this pilgrimage to Holland.
This is the burgomaster of Barneveld giving us his farewell speech to us.
These last 10 days, we will never forget you, and as a token of that undestroyable, unwreckable memory, as a token of your everlasting friendship, the members of our organizing committee will share out to all of you an original Dutch peasant handkerchief, so as to make the drying of your eyes and the blowing of your noses in this farewell party a bit easier.
We meet again, don't know where, don't know where, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. Now come on, let's hear you. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
Impressions of the trip to Holland?
Well, my overall general impressions, it was just a super time. I was there in 1985, and I thought the impressions then, it couldn't be better. But this time, it really was. I am most impressed with the people of Holland in the way that they remind their children of what happened to them during the war. Not only wartime experiences, but experiences with regard to discrimination and racial discrimination and so on. They educate their children in the schools to this, and it's just the difference in day and night. A veterans parade over here doesn't mean a thing to a lot of people. Over there, it means a great deal to a great many people. Our hosts couldn't be more hospitable. I don't care what they did. The Dutch people just treat us wonderfully well. We're all heroes over there, which is a queer difference from what the impression I get on a parade here.
What am I supposed to talk already? Well, my biggest thing was that when we caught watching and crossing the Isle River, I enjoyed that about the most of anything. So that's all I got to say.
That was my first time being back in Holland since 1945. And I was so impressed with the country. The people were wonderful. I couldn't believe the country, how clean, how tidy it was. After in 45, the roofs were off the house. Most of the country was underwater. The winter we had was god-awful. But we survived. My host and host.
In the ruined steeple of a church, the Nazis have left a flag as a last insolent gesture. A soldier flings it to the ground. A desolate scene of destruction in a once peaceful town. Destruction marks the passage of the fighting. The Germans leave mines as they retreat, but British flail tanks beat a passage. From the mast to the sea, our advance smashes on. Tanks and guns, guns and men. Men who, despite a tenacious enemy and adverse weather, are slogging resolutely along one of the roads that lead to Berlin.
You've won a great victory, and you've won it in the face of difficulties of supply and communications unequaled in the history of war. The war is over. The last of the aggressors has been beaten into surrender. Not only you, but the entire civilized world may well remember with pride the part that you played. Near Kohima, a memorial has been set up to the fallen with this inscription: "For your tomorrow, they gave their today." Let us remember that as we now go forth to make our tomorrow.
Okay, here we are on the airplane. We've left Toronto at 5:20 on April the 27th, and we are now over the Atlantic Ocean. And it's been a very enjoyable trip. They're always serving us food or drinks, and then we get walking around talking to different comrades. Most of the guys at the back of this airplane are all comrades going to Holland. And then, of course, there's TVs. There's a TV about every 12 feet. So there's always lots to do. Here's a beautiful sunrise as we're approaching Europe. Okay, now we've arrived at Schiphol Airport just outside of Amsterdam. Here's the boys coming in to the airport from the plane. We rented a car at the airport, and then we came into Amsterdam to have breakfast and to decide what we were going to do. And then we've decided to leave Amsterdam and go down to the bottom end of Holland to Bergen op Zoom, and we're going to start our trip off down there. Beautiful highways over here. They never ran across a bad road all the trips we made, and we went over 2,000 kilometers, and they were all good highways. Even the back roads were paved, so it was quite a treat.
Now don't go away, as we sang love's old sweet song on moonlight day. We were sailing along on moonlight day. We could hear the voices ringing.
This is a map to show you where Schiphol is there. We leave there on Highway A9 and come over to A2. Then we head down here towards Utrecht. I think every Canadian that was in Holland spent some time in Utrecht. It seemed to be the meeting place between there and Hilversum and Amsterdam. Then we get on to Highway 27 and we head south to Breda. And then we switch from Breda over onto 58 to Bergen op Zoom. Now, Bergen op Zoom here is, there's a big Canadian cemetery here, and of course there was a big battle here at what they call the Scheldt right here, and the war amps have put a tape out about the Scheldt. It's very interesting. If you get a hold of it, it's worth seeing.
We could hear the voices ring. They seem to say.
Across the fields of battle drifting, o'er the crosses, row on row, sounds the last post. Proud notes lifting a Canadian spirit of long ago. They were not divided like we who tend to tear this land apart. They had one cause, one destiny, a maple leaf in every heart. And was it worth the sacrifice? Some would question now. Ask the ones who knew the price of Belsen, Buchenwald, and Dachau. They heard the call with one endeavor and chose to march or fly or sail. Standing tall, they fought together. They did not flag nor fail. They offered all they had to give for the true North, strong and free, to secure for us the right to live in a bountiful democracy. Their spirit lives on, though they may lay in foreign soil across the sea. Oh, Canada, stand on guard, we pray, as they stood on guard for thee. May this fair land where we abide, and for which they dearly paid, ever remember them with pride, and be worthy of the sacrifice they made.
Smaller towns that we're going through. We're out on the Scheldt, and we're heading for the coastline to Lillington.
Everybody turned here. Holy mackerel. Everybody else turned down here. Take it nice and easy.
All these decorations are for the Queen's birthday. This is on the Sunday, and the big holiday on the Monday for the Queen's birthday. This is a German bunker, one of many out here. This is inside. That's the size of gun that used to be on here. Right now it's just some place for kids to play. As you can see, the mess on the floors here, and the walls are about 6 feet deep.
What, 3 feet? 3 feet thick?
3 feet thick there? 3 feet right there, but inside there they said they were about 6 feet deep.
There's another spot up there, another one on the right there too.
Yeah, well that's good.
Nothing there. It's solid concrete, I guess. Holes up here at the top too.
I imagine for air, eh? In there?
Could be, yeah.
Trying to figure out what those holes are for, but we really don't know. Somebody says they're for air. I imagine they'd need a lot bigger holes than that for air in there. This is just the kids that had them. That shows you on the map where Lissington is. It's right out the tip there, and that's what used to stop the ships. Those guns stopped the ships from coming in and going to Antwerp. Now it's a topless beach here, and it was a real beautiful day the day we were there, and as you can see, Harold there looking at the girls. It's a beautiful beach, and as you can see how busy it is. Now out at the end of the pier, these are bamboo poles that the Holland people have built on top of a German bunker. And in those holes, they've drilled those holes, and on a real windy day, these things make music. There's no such tune, but they still make a bit of noise. That's looking into the main part of the beach again, and here's some more German bunkers. You can see out in the field there. It would cost a fortune to get them out of there because the concrete's so thick. Now we're at Kingerdijk, and there's 19 windmills here, and there's people living in these windmills, and they get rent-free for just looking after the windmills. And most of these windmills have been built in 1740. Let me see here, 1740 up to 1761. So boy, they're old. $17.40. That's a lot of bicycles there. That's the way most of them travel. This is a restaurant over top of the main highway, just like our 401 here. You can sit there and enjoy your meal and watch the traffic. It's beautiful. Just a small town having a big celebration there for the Queen's birthday.
Well, just take it a little slower. Let the people see this canal.
This is the tulip fields around Lissa. As you can see, they're just about finished now. The farmers are cutting all the tops off them. So we've seen a few fields though around Lissa, but it's just about over.
In this building, on May the 5th, 1945, Lieutenant General Charles Foulkes, CBE DSO, General Officer commanding the 1st Canadian Corps, accepted the unconditional surrender of the 25 German Army from Colonel General Johann Blaskowitz.
That's actually the building that the armistice was signed in.
In Reunite or something, where they actually signed the armistice. This is the room where it happened. Being prepared right now for a special signing on May the 5th, 3 days from now. It'll be 45 years from that date.
Now stay in that lane if you can.
And also 45 years ago lived with you and were very proud that they were liberated by your Canadians. Of April, the members of Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry and the C4 Highlanders of Canada were the first to cross the River Isle with their famous buffaloes, amphibian cars. First of all, I want to give the word to Colonel Frost, who was one of the members of Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry, who actually made this crossing.
The exact date was, as you heard, April 11th, 1945. The crossing was made by the 2nd Brigade, PPCLI on the right, C4th Highlanders on the left, in exactly this location. I had the honor to command Dog Company on the right, and on my left was Charlie Company under Major Jones. We attacked the crossing exactly here in Buffaloes. My first objective was a house, which you can see from here, codenamed Ness. I should say, too, it was a fairly nice day, not as warm as this, a bit of a breeze, which was fortunate because we needed smoke, and it was a good smoke cover. We got across the river. The Germans were completely stunned. They thought we were still in Italy. There it goes.
It was the last one.
There are 17 of those sections
interior
there.
bays are now connected by the crews of both boats. At first by throwing and pulling ropes. With the ropes they pull the two pontons together. Mr. Van Broek, the rest can steam up. At the left side you can see now the rest of the material which is already placed in the water. Depending on the launching facilities on this side, it is possible now for a platoon to build a bridge this big in darkness in about 1.5 hours. Of this side steams up. It takes about 5 till 10 minutes to place it on this side.
As I say, there was about 17 of those sections. They pushed them into place and just bolted them together, and had her all done in about an hour and a half.